becomes a big burnout point for both the consumer and the business owner, for sure. Wow. And then you can tell me what you think. So the term functional medicine is coined by a great mentor of mine, Dr. Jeff Bland, in 1988 in Tacoma, Washington. Okay. And it's basically asking higher quality questions. Okay. That's the point of functional medicine. Let's ask some higher quality questions and look at the root cause, but let's integrate things like naturopathic medicine and Eastern medicine concepts, right? So, but keep it super scientific, because Dr. Bland is a PhD. He's super scientific, right? So that's what it was in 1988 and maybe into the early 90s. What it is today, I think it's very different from the original intention. Yeah. And I get a lot of slack from my functional medicine doc, but I'll say it anyways. I really don't think medicine should be labeled. And with the exception of what I just labeled it, are you a transactional doctor? Yeah. Or are you a transformational doctor?
Oh, I like that.
Ooh. And there's no, I don't judge, because some doctors love to be the transactional doctors and some doctors love to be the transformational doctor, but you got to pick. And there's roles for both, right? If I'm going to the ER or the acute appendicitis, you better give me the transaction, that's great. But if we're here talking about the root cause of a different things, that's a transformational doctor, right? Yeah. And I think those are the only two distinctions. But once again, there's no wrong way to do it. So you as a patient who's listening to this, if you're listening, you have to think about what am I asking for? Am I asking for a transaction or transformation? If I'm asking for a transaction, cool, do your thing. If I'm asking transformation, I'm going to go into my doctor's office and state, hey, this is your role in my life and I want to know this. And the value of our discussion today is simply like, let me know this, right? Yeah. If you don't think you're set for the role, totally fine. I don't blame you at all. Thank you very much. Here's my insurance card. I'll go to the next person, right? Yeah. I think we really have to take ownership on both sides. So the doctor's asking, what are you really here for? Like, what is going to make it a win for you today? And the patient's on the patient side is like, here's the transformation I'm looking for. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. It is on both sides, because not all patients are ready for transformation. A lot of them are indoctrinated into the transactional methodology, and they just want. I've had patients come in and are like, wait, don't I get an antibiotic? I'm like, dude, your airway is jacked. We got a bunch of stuff we need to do. And they're looking for that transactional, because that's all they know, and they're not ready for transformational. And so now we're at
symptom management.
We're at a problem, right?
Yeah.
Here's another unpopular opinion. Most functional medicine is transactional medicine. Can I
say that again?
Most functional medicine is also transactional medicine. Okay. The way it currently is right now, right? And that's my issue with a lot of functional medicine, although the functional medicine doesn't really have a clear definition at this point, right? So, okay, well, functional medicine could be, okay, maybe you got some heavy metal poisoning, or maybe you have some microbiome things you want to look at. Maybe you have some candida and yeast and go on this protocol. I hate the P word, protocol. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. And so what happens is that we're still doing transactional medicine, right? Although, are you getting to the root cause? Yeah, eventually. But what happens is that a lot of patients, they get burnt out in functional medicine. They get burnt out along the way, right? Yeah. And so if we as doctors stick with the transaction, we're taking down this path of this functional medicine deal, and then $10,000 later, they're like, well, what happened? How do I even get here? Was it really worth it in the first place? And that's what burns out a lot of functional medicine doctors, right? And so and it's because we really have to ask the higher quality questions what you're doing here. And I'm gonna give you this. Actually, it's one of your patients that came in that you referred to us, and man, she had seen a bazillion different dentists, oral surgeons. She thinks that her, mercury amalgams basically kind of ruined everything in her life, et cetera, et cetera. And she had this thick of a stack. And I politely put this back, and I was like, what's going to make today a win for you? Right. And as one does, she kind of paused for a little bit. It's like, I'm not sure. I'm like, okay. And then what's my role in your life today? She's like, can you look at that? I was like, all you want me to do is look at that? It's like, well, no, I want to know if I'm going in the right direction. Okay. I'm like, all right, well, there's no wrong direction. And whatever you've experienced so far, if it doesn't work, that's really good data. that lets us know what doesn't work. So let's appreciate all the dentists and all the doctors you've seen before. I appreciate all of them, but let's figure out and curate a path forward of where you want to go. Long story short, none of the things in her file really mattered of what she really wanted and getting to the root cause, because she identified a lot of her suffering has to do with her life and the relationships and the choices that she made, which we totally understand. But the value that she got is, I was able to listen and kind of hold space in that moment in time, right? And did I prescribe anything? No. I was like, let's talk some more later. Yeah, just get on the schedule with me. Let's talk. Like, let's have you process this. You okay? She's like, okay, right? Yeah. And she kind of skipped out, which was kind of cool, And so that's transformational medicine. Is not we're not judged by the power of do. We're judged by the power of be. Let's be us, right? Let's stay present and listen to it. And that allow the patient themselves to be the hero of their own story. Yeah. So that's why I don't know what functional medicine really means. Is it transactional? Is it transformational? Is it a little bit of both, right?
I got you.
Yeah.
I think it's going through functional medicine. I mean, they're just being in Austin in the 10 years I've been there.
Yeah.
It started out as kind of like holistic doctors were coming up, and then we started seeing the word functional medical doctors. And now it's functional holistic. And I just see the words changing now. It's been my experience, and I'm sure, again, I will piss off a lot of people by saying this, and I don't care, is that the functional is, like Jesse, you said, is transactional. Majority of patients who come to me, and they're seeing a functional medical doctor, and all I see is they're taking just an enormous amount of supplements. They're taking every kind of probiotic you can think of for gut health, and they're doing everything they can, all the while not one person ever looked at their airway. And I'm like, of course, confirmational. I'm biased because that's what I look at all the time. But I'm like, you have severe sleep apnea. Has anyone ever functionally looked at the fact that you cannot breathe at night? Right. No, never. So then I'm like, how are these individuals functional? They're not holistic. Right. They're not functional. They're not, the entire system's connected. Then it goes back to, is it, I don't want to say the word fraudulent, but it's like, it's another way of taking someone's pain and suffering and making it transactional. And I've,
I think
it's unfortunate.
I think it's only fraudulent and the intention is bad, but they're not educated, right?
They're not educated.
I wasn't educated.
Right.
So it's neglect.
Yeah. I learned from being friends with this guy and all these people, but it's, and it's not even that. It's just that like the pieces that connect together, that's we're trained in, whether it's conventional training or functional medicine training or integrative health training. Like the Airway piece is a big missing component, but guess what that is? It's in what my mom does, acupuncture and herbs and Eastern medicine. They're like, your chi is blocked. Yeah. Chi is air, right?
Yeah. Tell us about chi.
Chi/mana. Chi
/prana.
/prana, right?
There,
is the source of how we exist. So the term chi, although it's energy, it's not really energy. Chi in Chinese is air. Is the way that we move air into our body. Yeah, which is a combination of literally air, okay, nitric oxide, right, that we activate in our sinuses. It's also our physical airway, head and neck, lungs. It's our fascia system. It's even your pelvic floor. All those are engaged in moving air through the body, right? And so if we look at ancient cultures of how we move air in the body, well, it's through breath, right? And so, pranayama, right? So you have different types of breath work. You have the Polynesians have fire breath. Yeah. You have like Tai Chi and Qigong in China, right? The movement plus the breath together. You have holotropic breath work. Now people call it Wim Hof because he's famous for it. But there's a lot of different things that are there. But all those things are the art of movement. So David, for your patients, for example, we put them on a breath path beforehand and after surgery, for example, right? We even do it before and after appliances and everything like that as well. And so this concept of chi is actually very physical and chemical and neurological, right? Yeah. And it's measurable, which is the cool part. So you have this nitric oxide, and then you can actually see if someone's chi is blocked if they look kind of sick, right? Maybe they have these darkening circles under the eyes, which call allergic shiners. And so when the opposite of chi presence, okay, is histamine. Histamine goes up when your chi comes down. Histamine goes up when your air comes down.
Right.
So there's this rampant term called mast cell activation syndrome, which is basically a massive release of histamine. Well, if you're not looking at the way that people are, like their posture, their breath, and you're really just looking at other things that can trigger histamine, like mold or Lyme disease or Epstein-Barr virus, stuff like that, you're missing the big picture, right? And so we have to get our chi and our body systems regulated, our head and neck and our sinuses, like all those things are really important as a primary basis. Because, I've been that functional medicine doctor route where we try to do everything else but breathe. And you can't bypass it because things get better and they come back, right? For another big part, David, and also a little controversial, SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, is an airway problem. It is not purely a gut issue. When you're mouth breathing too much or you're not able to upregulate nitric oxide, that is called SIBO. And a SIBO is designed for you to live. If you're having airway issues and you don't have SIBO, you wouldn't be alive. Yeah, because your bowels want to recruit organisms to help you digest. So your organisms within the gut doesn't permeate the barrier, right? So you build what's called biofilms in the gut. So when people in functional medicine try to take like probiotics or try to take SIBO busting medications or supplements or antifungals and stuff like that, they have this thing called a Herxheimer reaction, which is a detox reaction. Yeah. And a detox reaction is not supposed to happen is because now that you've taken away your compensation mechanism, which is SIBO, right? What do you have left? You have things that you don't feel very well, right? And so inflammation has to come down, clenching has to come down, breathing has to be there, and then you can breathe your way out of a lot of these gut disorders, whether it's SIBO or before SIBO is IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, which affects 1 in 2 Americans, right? And so all these body systems start with, is your chi blocked at the origin, which is right here, right? If that does, then you can get the SIBO, the mast cell activation, and peripheral neuropathy. It's the big one, fibromyalgia, right? These are all like different arms of kind of like the same thing where your chi is actually blocked, or prana. It's actually blocked.
You're looking at me.
Because you said prana, bro.
I just wanted to,
I'm trying to give you respect.
I want people to know there are different words for the same thing.
Prana, mana, chi.
The fact of my ethnicity, he's also tossing my way.
Hey, look, I'm Chinese. That's why I talk about chi, right?
All right.
Yeah. What you said is so true. I mean, I see patients all the time.
Yeah.
They all have small airways, or most of them do.
Yeah.
And as a result, they don't sleep well. Right. And it's like, we know that what bad sleep will do to the body.
Yeah.
Every physician should know that. Every dentist should know that. Every common person, not common, but anyone knows that. It's not common sense, right? But you're right. None of them, or very few, I would say less than 5% of them, have ever had a sleep study or were ever asked a question. And these patients, like the patients that you guys see, have seen specialists, physicians, dentists. They've seen multiple providers because they have ailments and symptoms that nobody can really fix. Like, why? If it's such a common sense thing, like, why is it missed?
It's uncommon sense now.
I think it's missed because like the quality of our life depends on the quality of our focus. So our quality of focus is not on where the origin is, it becomes an issue, right? And even with airway, I mean, there's multi-generational impact of airway. It started way before any of us, right? As you have the skulls right here, the human skull have changed dramatically in the last couple hundred years, right? Yeah. There's epigenetic shifts and everything like that.
And I'm just going to say real fast, it's even the sleep physicians themselves are guilty.
Why? What happened? What happened to them?
Because not all of them.
Laughing.
We gotta love our sleep physicians.
We love our sleep physicians.
But if you see a lot of like I work with a lot of patients that have seen different sleep physicians and have sleep studies. So they'll get, the sleep physicians will go that step further and get the diagnosis of obstructive sleep apnea, right? But a lot of them will have medications to treat the bad sleep, right?
Or restless legs.
And still not think about, structurally the airway. Like what even just one step further. So it's like, what I'm saying is like, you have someone with an autoimmune condition or fibromyalgia, and you're taking it down to like, okay, your sleep hygiene is not good, but more than that, your sleep is not good, and then down the line, your structure is not good. These guys are already down here where your sleep's not good. It's just one more step to look at.
Yeah. It's the again, the mentality. The medical model was just that this is your symptom, I have a treatment for it, but to just look around the corner and you'll see the fire. You know, it's just the root cause is right there, and it is a structure. And they just, I don't know why. You can tell you went to medical school. Why is that? It seems so simple just to go, simple. There is something going on here. Why don't I treat that?
Well, once again, depends on whether you're transactional medicine or transformational medicine.
Do they teach it in medical? I mean, think about it. And I've always wondered this.
Okay.
Where a third of our life is sleep, and like in dentistry, we learned nothing about nocturnal bruxism. We just go clenching, stressed, night guard, next.
That's it.
What else? Talk about something. So, I mean, in medicine, it's literally a third of our entire lives, and there's no what are they taught about it? Because from my point of view, it's near zero.
I don't remember.
Did you get anything?
I don't remember. I'm sure I got a little bit of sleep, maybe an hour of lecture on it. But in terms of clinical practice and medicine and all the boards we took and tests, I don't remember sleep being.
No one does. Everyone I've talked to said, you know what? I don't recall sleep being taught about really anything.
I don't think it's taught in med school, but it's taught in specialty, like sleep neurology, for example. So I got a shout out to Jerry Simmons for teaching me this, but you know, he taught me that if you're clenching and bruxing, you actually lose what's called delta sleep, which is really deep sleep, delta and low theta sleep, and which means that you're not getting really into like restful sleep, right?
You're fragmented at that point.
Yeah, it's super fragmented. So sleep, you're supposed to go, you know, light sleep, moderate sleep, deep sleep, REM. You're supposed to cycle through 3 to 3.5 times, and you feel up pretty refreshed. But not a whole lot of people feel that way, right? But there's a lot of elements to sleep destruction as well. Like it's from everything from your pillow, or is your thoughts ruminating? I mean, did you eat like a bunch of Texas barbecue like right before bed? Right.
The sleep hygiene part of it is huge.
Yeah, So we weren't really taught sleep hygiene. We were just taught, hey, here, take some trazodone or something like that, see what happens, you know?
Yeah.
And then if it's good, then great. But most of the sleep medicines actually don't put you into deep sleep. They actually keep you in light sleep.
What do all those do? They just, it's like drinking alcohol. You'll sleep.
Yeah, it's light. Yeah.
But it's not restorative sleep.
Same thing with Benadryl. And then people try taking some melatonin, but then if your airway is obstructed, your melatonin is not going to work. It's going to have you know? And so I think that once again, like we're looking at patterns, and when I look at EEGs, which I do in my practice all day long, where we can look at the amount of these sleep waves during the day. For example, if someone has like ADD and ADHD, okay, one of the neurological biomarkers, something called a theta to beta ratio. How much theta waves or sleep waves do you have compared to your beta waves? So even in electrophysiology and in neuroscience, the definition of ADD is a sleepy brain. Okay. And so like, once again, the theta on the numerator to the beta on the denominator, if that ratio is high above 1 or 1.2, then you're likely to have, you know, inattention. And so even inattention from a neurophysiology sense is sort of the sleepy brain phenomenon. But that didn't cross over into psychiatry.
Yeah.
And then they get prescribed stimulants like Adderall. Well, you have stimulants during the day and then you have poor sleep at night.
Right. What's going to happen?
What's going to happen is major depression is going to happen like later on, right? So that becomes sort of this rolling.
This is the issue. A lot of the drugs that are treating these symptoms make things worse.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. Especially like Benadryl, because that's over the counter. People are like, oh, I'll take some Benadryl.
Yeah.
Or worse,
that take it every night.
Or worse, they give their kid pediatric Benadryl. Okay. And then guess what? They're gonna like brux more. The kids like they're gonna be like hyper extended like this, right?
Yeah.
And then they have bedwetting, right? And so that becomes major issues. And so, but this is sort of like the norm, I think, in modern day, which is a big issue.
Yeah. I'm going to get into some pearls for people.
Let's do it.
Trivedi, we'll start with you. You're obviously very intelligent, smart, sharp.
He's kind of intelligent.
Good on camera. What are 3 top of mind, non-negotiable bio life hacks that you use?
Personally?
Personally.
neti pot navage, nasal rinsing I'm a big fan of that.
Ooh, yeah.
I'd probably do it 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Without fail that. I do exercises every morning to open up my nasal passages even before I even enter into the neti pot, and I think I did hit on my, these little morning yoga squats I do in the morning just to open up the nasal passages. Interesting enough, I did not come up with this. The yogis came up with these. I learned it when at a yoga ashram, a long time ago, and they just wake up in the morning, you do these little, for I say 30 seconds, and your nasal passages all open up. Then you hit it with the neti pot or something, and you're good to go. And as soon as you do that, your energy just skyrockets. You just don't need anything. You have this huge hit of probably nitric oxide and whatever else is happening, but it's a non-negotiable for me. And I tell people all the time,
squat and neti pot.
Squat and neti pot rhymes. It works out really well. That's a huge one. I'm also, I think my diet inherently is very low inflammatory. When I first got into the Airway thing and I got my first 3D, and I learned from my mentor, Dr. Felix Liao, taught me so much about things. And when we looked at my turbinates and they're really inflamed or bigger than they should have been, hence the chronic nasal congestion. He's like, yeah, your food, your diet must be inflammatory. So I started cutting out things I know cause me some, whatnot, and I got rid of it. A lot of my diet is just very clean, and so I just wish people would just listen to their bodies more. Just listen to it. It's telling you everything you need to know. Just listen.
Yeah.
And if you do, you just get so much more. My body's so efficient at everything it does because my diet's so solid, right? And I guess the third one is I'm very hyper aware of my tongue position. Making sure that's always at the roof of my mouth, always up against my palate. That my teeth aren't clenching together, and you maintain that conscious pattern, and eventually it's always that way. And it seems like those are my 3 ones I'm always on. I'm like hyper vigilant about those 3 things.
Yeah.
David, permission to tangent. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. I want to go back to what you said, because you have a yoga practice, for example, right? And I want to relate everything that we're talking about to what's known as the chakra system, or chakra. How do you say it? Chakra, something.
That's chakra.
All right, so
chakra to be
chakra.
Chakra, yeah.
Chinese, man. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
So the chakra system is basically a system of what we call energetic bodies, right? And there's different chakras. You have your crown, your third eye chakra, throat chakra, and in the holistic world, the spiritual world, the idea is to create energy to flow upwards to the chakra, which is Kundalini, right? Kundalini activation. But it's very scientific, and it actually has to do with Airway. Okay? You mind if I relate that to the Airway?
Roll.
Is that okay? Wait, do you know or no?
I'm fully aware. I just want to hear your version.
All right. Well, hear my version. I would love to hear your version.
Okay, go for it, yeah.
So there's specific types of meditations that's out there, and people who are the yogis and Joe Dispenza and everybody. And it's this type of meditation where you're, it's called Kundalini activation, where you're literally in a position where you can squeeze from your pelvic floor all the way up, and you're squeezing your cerebrospinal fluid into your brain, creating that circulation process. All right. So what you're doing is that you're increasing the flow of your CSF, your cerebrospinal fluid, and you can only do that in alignment and positioning, like posture. Okay. So when you do that, what happens is that the people who do this a lot, they found out that on their functional MRI scans, they have a lot more of these things called the choroid plexus. And the choroid plexus are the things that create cerebrospinal fluid. And the more choroid plexus you have, the more CSF you have, less chance of dementia, better aging, literally extending your telomeres and stuff like that, right? And so what happens is if you have airway obstruction or you're clenching and stuff like that, it's almost impossible to do this Kundalini activation. You could, but it's almost impossible because your body is flexed and clenched like this, and you're impeding the actual cerebral spinal fluid flow, right? And so it's really hard to kind of clear this energetic balance, right? So why is this important? Because if you don't have energetic balance, you have the opposite of that, which is a disease state, which we call POTS and dysautonomia. So what is POTS and dysautonomia? Dysautonomia is that your autonomic function is not quite there because the balance between your yin yang, your sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic system is off. So you have heart rate variabilities, passing out, or almost feel like you're almost going to pass out, numbness and tingling and stuff like that, right? And so it's because the alignment is actually off. Now, I don't know about you, but every POTS and dysautonomia patient that we've had has had a abnormal sleep study, like every single one, right? It's because there's airway obstructions and stuff like that. So what we're seeing here is sort of this epidemic of something that we now call POTS and dysautonomia, mast cell activation, similar things, right? And that becomes sort of this hallmark of the things that we see that we don't necessarily have an answer for. Right? And so it all kind of ties back into these energetic centers that we're not able to necessarily clear unless we utilize breath work and utilize alignment and utilize the ability for our fascia to integrate. When we do that, our brain produces melatonin because our pineal gland, which is also the third eye right here, the pineal gland is able to produce neurochemicals like melatonin and DMT, which is called the spirit molecule, right? And so these neurochemicals are able to change a lot of coding in our epigenetic DNA. And that allows us to create sort of this longevity that we see right here. And so when someone comes in and I see that they're diagnosed with a lot of these, chronic fatigue syndrome, POTS dysautonomia, mast cell activation, honestly, the same thing, just labeled by different types of ologists, right? Specialists. What the first thing I look at is their face, their cheekbones, their jaw, their head and neck, right? And are they holding their shoulders like this? Is it contracted like this, right? Looking at their knees, their hips, how are they actually walking? Are they lopsided? Most of the time they are. And what makes it worse is that a lot of the time they have symptoms and they go into fetal position on the couch, which actually makes it worse because you can't open up your cerebral spinal fluid, right? And that becomes a worsening issue. So posture is so important. Tongue positioning, as you said, is so important too, right?
Tongue positioning. And I found that just in my practice, as I'm now looking at all these things, I notice, and when you're talking about this kind of like inward tightness on a lot of people, I see a correlation with those individuals who also have like, a grade 1 to 4 tongue tie, like these guys, the more tied up they are, the more issues they're having, structurally speaking. They're really tied up. And then
that's me.
Connect that up to the fascia, the anterior fascial plane is tighter than it should be. Right. And they have it everywhere. You can tell that they have other structural issues happening going on. And it's all tied into, again, the oral posture.
And here's something even cooler. If we look at the way that music was developed over the ancient times, okay? Music and chord progressions, I'm a music nerd, right? And especially the minor pentatonic scale, when you hum it, it's actually designed to free up the fascia, okay? So a lot of music is in pentatonic and minor pentatonic scales, and you feel pretty good with it, and you hum along with it. So you have ancient Polynesian music to the Gregorian choir, right? To ancient Chinese music. It's the same chord progressions. And now, guess what we're using it for? We're using these vibrational frequencies to treat Parkinson's. Yeah. Literally next door at Methodist Hospital. Like that's what's happening right now, right? Using ultrasonic frequencies based on these music theory principles to release that. And so even in the ancient times, everything from hula and dancing and songs are kind of designed to free up our mana, our prana, our chi, right? And our kundalini activation, right? So it's designed to have this sort of harmonious balance with the body. So whenever people like this come into our clinic, a big part of it is breath work and then humming, chanting and stuff like that. Not because it's all woo-woo, it's because we're literally trying to free up the fascia and get the cerebral spinal fluid going. And that's the coolest thing of what we do.
It's awesome.
I got nothing on that one. Yeah, moving to the CSF is really important.
What are we at? All right, 4 minutes. I'm going to do some rapid fire to
Sounds
end
good.
All right, go for it.
Okay.
All right. Trivedi, and we'll just go both of you.
Yeah.
Trivedi, start with you. One supplement you believe in.
What was that?
One supplement that you believe in.
L-theanine. It's made a big difference. I have to really jump on there. Obviously magnesium, but L-theanine really just ripped it up for me. And I'm pretty happy with that.
Awesome.
Nitric oxide supplements. Got to support my buddy Nathan Bryan
here.
Had
him here on the last podcast.
Yeah, nitric oxide supplements are a game changer. It's huge. Yeah,
I ordered them after I spoke to him. They're in the mail.
That's great.
All right, one habit people should drop immediately.
Oh, looking at their phones before they go to bed.
Oh, I was going to say the exact same thing. That's why these blue blockers on.
Say? He's got the glasses on.
Yeah, I know there's bright lights here, so I'm trying to increase my melatonin tonight. So
it's almost bedtime.
Yeah, I would say the same thing, but in addition, like take off screen time. Like don't do screen time after dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard to do.
It is.
Hard to do.
Or if then just use a blue blockers to help you out.
Yeah. Okay. They look cool too.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
You shush.
One myth in dentistry you wish would stop or die.
Oh, recession is due to brushing too hard.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
I didn't know it was a myth.
Die already, for the love of God.
That should stop.
Oh, I mean, wait, hold on. I'm not a dentist. We mean brushing your teeth like causes gum line recession? Is what you're saying?
Yeah,
correct.
That's a myth, right?
That's a myth.
Huge myth.
Okay, I thought it was a myth.
Brush your teeth.
Brush
it hard. Go for it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I always say it. You know, we say that as dentists. I don't say it, but dentists say it. You're brushing too hard. You're causing recession. And then when you have recession, they'll take a metal pick and and go harder. Myth in medicine that we'd like to stop.
Salt is bad for you.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Salt is amazing for you.
That one's interesting.
That's a good one.
Yeah, we do a whole 2 hours on that, but I won't get into it. But that's my
Where did that come from, though?
It comes from the data on processed foods, and they think the sodium is actually the issue, but it's actually the processed food that's causing the issue.
Yeah.
But like salt and water, like LMNT or buoy, whatever you guys use for electrolytes, is this very powerful tool to calm your autonomic nervous system down.
Yeah, awesome. And I'm gonna end it with this. One thing someone could do tonight after watching this podcast to make their life better.
Get a sleep study.
I think everyone should have
That's
one.
very direct, huh?
Yeah, everyone.
Have a pause and breathe for 120 seconds.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'll end it with watch the Alfi Podcast.
Watch the Alfi Podcast. Which camera am I? Watch the Alfi Podcast.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Obviously, we're going to do this again.
We have to.
Oh, we got it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like, comment, share, and we'll see you next time.
And subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe for sure.
Duh.